Hello, YouTube. What's going on? Hope everybody stayed well, staying healthy, and God bless y'all. It's always funny sitting back watching these different people talking about what's going on in America. You sit back, you listen to them. You got all these people on here that are calling for race war, and this one young lady that was actually convicted, or well, she's going to be convicted, a 911 operator. She kept hanging up on those people that were needed her help. And if they had white voices, majority of the time she hung up. See, she even said that she didn't care for white people. Pretty much admitting it. So she said, we ain't got time for that. Yeah. So the DEI hires that these police department and everybody are doing is actually proving exactly why we don't want DEI hires. So actuality, you sit back and you listen to what's going on in America. The liberals are firebombing Tesla. They're committing domestic terrorism, and in the name of racial equality or transgender equality, or whatever name they want to use for it. It's all domestic terrorism, doesn't matter what it is. You see where these black people are looting and stealing out of the back of Amazon trucks, and they're going into these stores and you're just piling bags full of stuff. The FBI, Kash Patel, this is where you got to look at those videos and facial recognition. You want to use facial recognition so bad, the government did. I guess this would be the time to use it. Go back, figure out who they are, go to their house. They got stolen goods. Guess what? There you go. Unfortunately, here's the biggest problem with some of the stuff going on. There's going to be children caught in the middle. Moms, dads out there looting, stealing. Now what do you do with the kids? Got these kids that are sitting there. You're cutting off I don't think anybody that committed a crime deserves our government funding. Welfare, SNAP, Social Security, whatever. They don't deserve it. If you're out there committing crimes, why should we be giving you money? If you're driving a $40,000, $50,000 car, like one lady was driving a BMW, and she got a letter. They said, sell the car, and you can continue with your Social Security, or your SNAP, food stamps, I think it was. But anyways, you can continue with your food stamps, and she was crying about it. Me and my wife live on disability. You can't afford a car, so you're telling me she's getting $8,000 a month in food stamps? What person actually deserves $8,000 a month? How many kids does she feed? How many kids does she claim? Let's put it that way. How many people did she claim in the household? How did she get $8,000 a month when they took ours and we were turning in paper, doing everything, and ours, it says it's active, that little card, but we don't get nothing on it. We ain't criminals. We ain't defrauding. We live on disability. See, here's the thing. I love what Trump's doing. Everything that Trump is doing, I voted for. There's so much to list, I can't keep up with it. And he said, you're going to win so much, and you're going to get tired of winning. No, I'm not tired of it. I'll never be tired of it, because I'm sitting back laughing at these people that are getting PO'd about it. The Democrats, the liberals, everybody. I'm laughing. Finding all the corruptions, the slush funds, like the Board of Education and everybody else. All these slush funds, USA and Act Blue, I think it was called. But all these ones that they're shutting down, hey, shut them all down. You changed the name to Washington, D.C. to the District of America, I think it was, or something like that. Or the Gulf of America now, or, stuff like that. Hey, that's smart moves, man. Because Washington, D.C. should not be an entity of its own. Should never have been. But yet, our Revolutionary War has allowed it. Clear up till now. No, it should never have been allowed. No. No, we should have told British people, and that's who owned it there for a while. It was based out of Philippines, but who runs Philippines? British. The king, the crown. So actuality, if you do your research on all that, it's like we should have told them, kick rocks. This is ours. You don't have 1 inch of American land. Same thing with China and everywhere else. Kick rocks. Any country, I don't care if it's Switzerland, Denmark, or wherever, if you have a toll road or anything, you should be forced to give it up. Because there should not be one country that owns 1 stitch of land in this country. It should be all American, no problem. Stop funding all these wars. And there's rumors that we're going to war in China, and most of that is coming from Washington Post, CNN, and all that. I don't see that Trump had ever said that, really. I've been looking, and if he has, show me the link. Oh, we're going to war right now with China. No, we're going to use tariffs to bring China into check. And then also all this land that China owns, they're going to be forced to give up. There was a young lady here in Texas. Unfortunately, she's caught in a bad situation right now. She went out to defend her daughter because somebody was breaking into her daughter's room. Her house had been broken into a few times. And she unalived the guy. Later on, found out the kid was 14 years old. But he was breaking into the house. To me, that's still self-defense because that's my daughter's room. I'll go to jail on that one. I'll walk into jail and prison on that one. I'm defending my daughter. Don't care how old you are. If your parents can't keep you under control and they can't know where you're at and what you're doing at 14 years old, then your parents are not doing a good job at all, period. I mean, granted, we ran as kids, we were feral, but we also knew that if we went in somebody's house, we'd probably most likely, get rock salt in our butt or maybe some lead. No, we had the idea that people would take care of business if they had to growing up. Unfortunately, this lady, they're here in Texas, they're trying to decide if they're going to charge her. I hope they don't. Texas, Greg Abbott, I'm calling for you not to defend that woman. Don't let her get prosecuted. Because she only did what the Constitution says. You have a right to self-defense. You have a right to bear arms. That kid was on her property. See, unfortunately, people are getting caught up in these situations where they live in states, and Texas is not really one of them, but unfortunately it happened in Texas. They're getting caught up in states to where they have to be in fear of the government prosecuting them for defending their property or defending themselves or their children or their family or friends. No wonder nobody really wants to stand up and protect anybody anymore. Because if you knock somebody out in defense of somebody else, or you unalive them in defense of somebody, the cops don't know the law, and they're going to prosecute you. They're going to take you to jail. They're going to take your weapon. They're gonna do all this stuff, and you're going to spend so much money in court costs that you can't defend yourself. Somebody poor and in a bad situation like me would just go to jail and say, what do? I throw in the flag, hey, So actuality, you sit back and you just hope you never get into that situation. You hope and pray. But yet on these apps, you hear these black people, racist blacks, telling you that they're going to come kill you because of your skin color. If we was to say that in the opposite, and I've said this in many videos, guess what would happen? We would be called racist and called everything else. They're calling for race wars. They're calling for the complete elimination of the white race and the white gene. They're calling for genocide. Imagine if we called for genocide. Yeah. See, you got these videos out there where they have talked to the black Israelites and the black Jews and everybody else. And Black Panthers and whoever else, Black Lives Matters and all these people are saying that black people started everything, which is they have no actual facts or basic scientific basis or historical basis to say that that's true. Because how many bodies have been found in ice, in tombs, and they've been people of, well, a little bit darker than I am, but pretty much white, Viking, Norse, the Middle Eastern, whatever, the Egyptians, whatever. They're not black. Even a lot of the blacks that are calling themselves black are not black. They're brown. So actuality, you're sitting here trying to hear this stuff about where blacks are just trying to shove it down your throat. Democratic Party trying to shove all these people you don't want to vote for down your throat, and all this perverted ideology down your throat. But in actuality, you got people like AOC and 900-year-old Bernie Sanders that's going to run for president. That's what they're saying. Bernie Sanders he's older than Donald Trump, I think. Why would you vote for that man? That man's a nutcase. Why would you vote for her? She's a bartender. What experience? What qualifications does she have? You know, they said they're going to run on merits. You know, Trump said we're going to start bringing back the merit system. You got to have the qualifications to get those jobs. I don't know about you. If I walk onto an airplane and they have a woman with purple hair, pink hair that's flying the plane, I'm going to be asking questions. What are her qualifications? I don't fly anymore. For a reason. I don't. I'd rather drive and know that I got control. But I'll be asking questions. And I'm going to maybe sound racist. Right? If I see a black woman or a Muslim, or a man, a gay man, no matter what color he is, I'm going to be asking questions. What qualifications? Yeah, a couple times I've asked, you know, how long you've been flying. I've asked pilots that, getting on plane. I've asked them. But actuality, you know, hey, how long you been flying? And they just gladly tell you, oh, 15, 20 years, 30 years, military, whatever. So that gives me a little bit more relaxed feeling because they've been flying military. They've been flying, you know, whatever. But if they say, oh, well, I just come in that last week and they just hired me because I put in the application. And all these agencies and all these federal employees and everybody that are getting fired and let go by Elon Musk and Trump and everybody else, I'm actually I'm not hurting for it. I don't care. Because if you can't even answer a simple question of what did you do last week, tell us what you did via email, give a little short essay or whatever you want to call it, report, whatever you want to call it, of what you did. What did you do? If you can't even answer that question, if you was working in any office and you were just sitting around doing nothing, or not even showing up to work, clocking in but not doing anything. Hell, I worked at a factory one time and see people on forklift. They're forklift qualified, certified, but they're off in a corner sleeping. I was qualified. I just couldn't do it because the factory said I couldn't do it. But yet they're sleeping. I was like, well, go wake him up. And the boss goes over and wakes him up. He goes over and moves one thing and he goes back to the corner and goes back to sleep again. Why do you want people like that on your clock? Same thing with the federal employees. Why do you want people that are sitting in their shorts or in some vacation spot somewhere around the world that's on our tax dollars? All these stupid things that we've been giving money to, college programs and everything else, and countries that don't do a dang thing for us, they hate us. Why are we giving money to them? Why? There is so much coming out. And so many court cases about the Second Amendment. And I had that judge the other day. I like what he did. He actually brought out a Glock and he said, this is how, or not a Glock, a SIG or whatever it was. But anyways, he broke it down and he was explaining the parts about the magazine and all the little accessories and all that. The people calling for gun control can't even do that. You know, it's funny. It's funny. I got a little Heritage 22 revolver. That's the only pistol I got. Love that gun. I can tear it down, break it down, put it back together, keep it clean, keep it working. I know how to work on that gun because I know that gun inside and out. If you're going to own guns, you should know the gun inside and out. This judge was actually kind of kicking back at the Ninth Circuit or whatever, whoever. But he was saying, no, this little accessory, you know, a little silencer, really doesn't do anything but like what's on your car, a muffler. It muffles the sound. Okay. Sometimes that's not a bad thing if you're shooting. Because you got to put on earmuffs anyways to protect your ears when you're just target shooting. So actuality, you're sitting here listening to these people that are so uneducated, our law enforcement's uneducated, the Democrats and the liberals are uneducated. You got these people that are so hypocritical. Beforehand, they were pushing electric cars. Now they're firebombing electric cars. You see the hypocrisy coming out. If you're one that's following all this hypocrisy, there's a lot of conservative black people I follow, and they are calling out the hypocrisy in the black communities and all these, you know, they're calling out all this stuff. But, oh, how dare a white man talk about a black person? Good Lord, you know. How dare a white person call out the truth on what actually is going on in the black community? No, you'll get death threats. They'll tell you right now, hey, we're going to come smoke you. The Hellcats and Scat Packs and all these cars that they're stealing, you need to put a kill switch on them at night, turn them off. Have that kill switch completely, and then also have a lock on the e-brake system. Disable the whole dang car if you have to. Make it harder to steal. And I guarantee you need to start filing the constitutional lawsuits if they arrest you for having your Second Amendment, protecting your house, protecting your family. File those lawsuits against the government and governors and, you know, law enforcement and everybody else. If they arrest you for Second Amendment, file lawsuits. Enough people start speaking up and not afraid to stand up against criminals doing street takeovers and everything else. Majority of them cars in street takeovers are stolen. They don't care about them cars. They burn them cars to the ground. They think it's fun. You want to go get your criminals? Go, hey, law enforcement, don't go after the guys exercising their constitutional rights of recording. Go out to those street takeovers and take the streets back. Cops, you want to get brutal and use that excessive force that you guys love to use. Go fight the real crime. Oh no, you can't do that. You can't hurt. You see it happening on TV, but yet I don't ever see law enforcement out there stopping them from busting into a train. No, they wait till it's done and over with, and there's a big old 4 or 5 mile stretch of garbage sitting all over the place. No, you never see law enforcement out there trying to break it up. No, they're too scared because what? They're black? They're too scared to break it up because they might get racism lawsuits against them. Some black slick lawyer is going to be up here going, we have civil rights. You see law enforcement going out and doing revenue collecting more than they're actually busting crime. Now, granted, there's a lot of things going on with the ICE and FBI, Cash Patel, and actually is starting to change. But yet, local law enforcement, if they do go out and bust them, and they actually do fight crime, God forbid they actually do their job, they don't understand constitutional rights and freedom. I don't answer questions. I don't do this, you know. Oh, if you don't answer questions, I think there's a reason behind it. Officer safety, man. Hey, you can't do that, officer safety. I like what that one ICE guy did on video the other day. People were recording, he was just sitting there going, hey, what's up? He knew he was in the right. He didn't have nothing to fear. He was good to go. I like that detective, what's his name, John or whatever he's on, and he talks against law enforcement. He says in 20 some years of his career, he's never used that officer safety BS. People recording him, hey, how you doing? Cool, watch my back. See if I do something stupid. Law enforcement should be that way. They shouldn't be scared of cameras. No, the criminals should be scared of cameras, but they're not. The criminals don't care about cameras. They know they get away with it. They think it's a game, GTA. This GTA video game has made their mind mush. They think they're going to come back and, reappear as somebody else in this world. It's not going to happen that way. Is it worth your life, you little criminals, you little thugs running around? Is it worth your life? That's what you got to ask. A lot of people tell me to do shorts, but I get on these rants and that's too long for a short. But you see everything that's going on, and Donald Trump is trying to change things. Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and all these other people are trying to change things. You see the conservative twins, they're laughing it up, and I love watching them. Conservative twins are funny. They talk a lot about all the stupidity going on. And I agree with them. You talk about that kid with the wolf hat thing. I forget his name. All these people are talking about what's going on in America. The entitlement, the privilege that some of these people have about destroying your property or wiping doo-doo on their car. Yeah, that guy he's a butt picker. He's caught on film. Now he's going to be known on the internet as a butt picker wiping his butt on a Tesla just because he don't like Elon Musk. He's a butt picker. He was kind of nasty. And then you had the other guy dropped the door, rubbed his butthole on the car. Another old guy wearing the same jacket, same car, and everything. Oh, that wasn't me. And then you have this black guy who was stealing. He was sitting down on a box and shoving stuff in. Oh, that wasn't me. Caught on video, but hey, it wasn't me. It's same hat, same jacket. Come on. They're playing stupid. I know I go from one subject to another in some of these videos, but there's so much going on that you got to make a comment about all this stuff. It's just retarded. It's stupid. It's so dumb that we're sitting back and watching the dumb right now. We're watching the stupidity. This is why I love reading my Bible, because it also reassures me that Jesus Christ is still in control. No matter how bad it gets, God and Jesus is still in control. It also reassures me that God uses people like Donald Trump and other people to bring this country and wake this country up. Bring it back and wake people up. Donald Trump got out there and he was holding his Bible. He was saying, there it is. You know? We need more people to get back to God. We need more fathers in the households. We need more families that are based on God. You see what the Islam and Muslims are doing. They're marrying these little children, but yet everybody's like, oh, nope, that's just a religion. That's just a religion. These kids can't be, 9 years old. But you were allowing it because, oh, well, that's in the UK. UK is letting them come in and take over. I mean, they ain't fighting back. Just let them take over. Hey, that's your government. That's your parliament. That's your king that's allowing Islam to take over and do all this sick stuff with these kids. Marry little children. See, Jesus Christ said for anybody that hurts a child, it's better to tie an anchor stone to your neck and throw yourself in the ocean. And that's what I think should happen. Seriously, there's so many places around here that's pretty deep. Hey, man, go for it. These people are sick, man, and they're saying coexist. Coexist. No, you can't coexist. You can't coexist with evil in this world. Christianity, if you're reading the Bible, you can't sit on the fence and coexist with the devil. But yet we're watching the devil manifested when people were out preaching the word on the streets. You can't coexist. That can't happen. You don't sit on the fence line. Either you serve the devil or you serve Jesus. And same thing with your freedom. Either you want freedom or you don't want freedom. You want to be slaves. It's like this. Pick who you serve today. Because if you serve the devil, you're going to have slavery. You're going to be enslaved. You're going to have all this misery and everything else. If you pick Jesus Christ, you're going to be free. So actuality, you better pick what's going on and understand what's going on. God bless. Have a good day. Be safe today.